This is Mongolian Mindset, and today we're gonna be breaking down another interaction style by Linda Behrens. It's gonna be pragmatic versus affiliative. This is a fun one for us. We're looking forward to this one. Christian, got anything you want to say before we get into this?
Yeah, I think as opposed to the other ones, like this is something that Mercer and I shared. So I think it's gonna be a fun one because we got experiences with affiliative people, in our daily lives. So it's gonna be a fun one. Go ahead.
Yeah, and join our Discord and our Facebook group. We have great debates, so we'd like to see you guys on that. We're working on getting Christian over there. He likes his freedom. So this is the series on how to find anyone's personality type. Okay, we have the metrics. We went over like 3 of them so far. This is the 4th. So let's get into it. You got the pragmatic, utilitarian mindset versus the affiliative and cooperation. Okay, so generally speaking, when people come together to accomplish something, they typically either refer to other people and strive to get the job done together in an affiliative manner, or refer to the desired outcome and more autonomously take whatever action they see fit to get the outcome in a pragmatic manner. So me and Christian are both pragmatic. That means we're going to do the opposite of that. We're not doing the affiliative. We don't care about the group. It's all about like, how can we get the goal any way that we can. Christian, go ahead and read that.
Pragmatic. Some people act primarily in a utilitarian or pragmatic manner. That is, they do what gets results, what achieves their objectives as effectively or efficiently as possible. And only afterwards do they check to see if they are observing the rules or going through proper channels. Act first, then ask for forgiveness later. Artisans, SPs, and rationals, NTs, are utilitarian in their action.
Okay, so what that generally says is like the pragmatic people are going to do things and then ask for forgiveness afterwards. Generally tend to say, fuck the rules. Okay. If they can turn their head and get away with breaking the rules, generally speaking, that's what they're gonna do. If it means getting a result or not. Okay.
Sometimes I think it extends to not just breaking the rules. Like you don't necessarily have to do something illegal.
Yeah, not illegal. Yeah.
It could also be breaking the societal rule or the societal norm. That's because a lot of the times, if you're not a criminal, it won't be you breaking the law. It's just you doing something out of the norm that other people tend to not do because society kind of doesn't highlight it or want you to do it.
Mm-hmm.
It could come off as that as well. So
yeah, that's generally what it's speaking. I mean, just like let's say you have a procedure or something, and you're just everybody's doing it. Your boss made this procedure, but you see there's 3 steps that you can omit from it and still get the same result. As a pragmatic person, you might omit those 3 steps to get the result.
yeah,
It's faster, it's better. Okay, but then you might get in trouble. Then you can be asking for forgiveness. Okay. Shit. Pragmatic, utilitarian. Pragmatic roles require that the individual acts in accordance with what they see needs to be done to get the desired result. So it's what I see needs to be done. I'm not checking in with the group. I don't give a damn about the group. Okay. I'm gonna do it first, and then you guys could say something to me afterwards. But I'm not checking in with the group. Okay. If it needs to get the desired results, that's what I'm gonna do. They may be people or task focused. They may be practical, idealistic. When a decision needs to be made or action needs to be taken, their first inclination is to act independently. Like I just said, pragmatic is not the same as practical. I think a lot of people make that mistake. Okay. That's why you guys really got to pick up Linda Behrens' work to actually understand. Be aware that if you come from a collectivist or community-focused culture, you may seem more affiliative than you naturally are. Generally speaking, you'll see that in like the Chinese culture. They can generally come off more affiliative, but at the same time, like I said, even myself, if you're in China, you can't do the same shit that we do over here in America. I mean, you just can't, because
right.
they punish the whole fucking group. Okay, they punish the whole fucking group. So, I mean, we'd all be acting a little bit more affiliative. Likewise, mainstream individualistic cultures like the United States may make you seem more pragmatic than you are. Um, Pragmatic focus on independence, effectiveness, self-determination, autonomous action, seeking outcomes, expedience, choosing actions to meet goals, comfortable being free to engage in expedient action regardless of roles. When the focus is on excellence and performance. So these are gonna be more merit-based people. Like you have two different type of people. There's the people like me and Christian that are like merit-based, and then you have the people that's I've been here for 15 years. Respect me. And it's like, no, you fucking suck at your fucking job. I'm sorry. I don't care if I've been here 2 years, you suck at your job. That's going to be more of a pragmatic statement. They'll be, oh my God, I've been here for 22 years. Get your affiliative ass out of here, man. I don't give a shit how long you been here. Okay. Are you good at your job? Are you effective at your job? No. Okay, shut up. Um,
Yeah, they tend to, like, for example, a pragmatic person, like if I'm talking to a doctor and I think he's wrong, then he's wrong, you know. Whereas like an affiliate person, well, he's a doctor, so he must be right. You get what I'm saying? Like that's the difference between a pragmatic way of thinking and a affiliative person. Is like the affiliative person will take the title and just say, well, he must be right because society says that he should know this. You know, a pragmatic person is like, are you right or wrong? I don't care about what society says. I don't care what the group says. I'm gonna evaluate it for myself. You know. So,
Tendencies are uneasy when roles are decided for them. So, like we say, pragmatic people, generally speaking, when we're doing the typings, if they say, that they generally like freedom or they don't like roles assigned to them, that's usually a pragmatic statement. Like, you can't say, Christian, this is your job. Christian, I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Like, if you try to give me a job, I'm like, bro, this is what you do. Nah, bro, I'm out. Like, no, 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 no. You ain't gonna decide roles for me. Often surprised when people are offended at the independent actions. Obviously, I mean, we get hit with that all the time. Maybe frustrated by what seems to be roadblocks or expedient action may be seen as too independent. Prone to dissenting, rebellion, contrariness, antagonism, disobedience. Exhibits freedom, frankness, self-reliance, and asking for forgiveness. So they generally like freedom to choose. Okay, they need pragmatic people need freedom to choose. You're not going to give them a defined role. Um, like
yeah.
fuck out of here with that shit. All right, Chris, you go ahead.
Affiliative people or cooperation. Other people act primarily in a cooperative or socially acceptable manner. That is, they try to do the right thing in keeping with agreed upon social rules, conventions, and codes of conduct. And only later do they concern themselves with the effectiveness of their actions. Guardians, SJs, and idealists are cooperative in their action.
Yeah. So
I think
I
I would add one thing too. I think
mm,
like a lot of affiliative people like this social structure, so they tend to like really like titles and like hierarchies because it's an acceptable social rule that they can follow and like blindly follow, let's say, just like I said in the doctor example in the previous slide. So
yeah.
good.
I had a INFP set up my tree, and when we were getting the tree, um, I for there was like a box or something in the middle or whatever, and I was like, "Fuck this shit! I ain't picking that shit up." And she was like, "No, but it's the right thing to do." And she picked up the box. I was like, "Fuck that shit! I ain't picking that shit up." That shit could sit right there. It was like, "Oh, it's the right thing to do." And she like picked it up and then put it where it was supposed to be. I'm like, "Man, fuck out of here with that shit."
Or I remember I had an example like that. It was like I was at work and I was trying to call a value to a nurse, right? And like no one would pick up the phone. No one, like the floor wouldn't pick it up, the nurse wouldn't pick it up, no one in the hospital would pick it up. So I called the doctor to their house at like 2 a.m. Like I didn't care because to me it's like, man, ain't nobody picking it up. You know what? I'm calling the doctor. Screw it. And everybody in where I worked at was shocked. They were like, "You call who at what time?" And da 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 da.
You
But I
can't do
didn't
that.
care. I was like, I don't care. I'm just gonna do what works. I'm calling, and that's it. You know what I mean? Like I took an independent action,
Mm-hmm.
and they were shocked at my independent action, and they were shocked that I didn't respect that he was a doctor and all that stuff. But bro, I don't care. Like I'm just trying to get an achievable result right now, So that's an example of being pragmatic versus
So sometimes what he need to tell you is sometimes when you're pragmatic, you need to sometimes chill out and actually see what is socially acceptable, because maybe if he called a doctor who was, maybe pragmatic or something, that could have been some trouble.
yeah, I could have got in trouble. Who knows?
Yeah.
But it is what it
You,
is.
you could say, oh my God, nobody, you can come up with anything to kind of defend that. Like, oh my God, it's critical for the patient. I didn't want to see him hurt or whatever. You
Exactly.
come up with anything to cover your ass. See why
Exactly.
you cover your ass. Go ahead and read those, Christian.
Uh love roles that require people they love roles that require people to act in community with a sense of what is good for the group. They may be people or task focused, practical or idealistic. No matter what, there's always a sense of cooperation and agreement, even if competing or being an individual. I think a lot of the times in the group, this comes across with like certain people. Like I know like in the past I've disagreed with people or even like came at their arguments and they're like, oh no, like Christian, like they treat me like a bully or something. But I'm just disagreeing. I'm not going with what you want, and I'm not going about it in a really like polite manner. I'm just arguing, I'm participating in an argument. And affiliative people hate that because to them it's like, yo, you're bullying people. To me, I'm not bullying people. I'm just arguing, the argument, not personal. But anyways, affiliative focus on interdependence, dependent on the group. Human and group effectiveness, inclusion, cooperative actions, seeking agreement, sanctions, checking in with norms and values, and they're comfortable with defined roles. That's why they like hierarchical structures. That's what I've experienced, anyways. Comfortable when people cooperate and get along. Tendencies tendencies uneasy when people don't work towards a goal. Often surprised when people don't want defined roles. May be frustrated by what appears to be lack of cooperation. Okay. They prefer harmony, conformity, they build unity, establish consensus, they enforce, censor, suppress, and compel others to participate. Man, I swear we get frustrated with affiliative people because it's almost like they're trying to censor your language all the time, trying to like I call
Control.
it dilute because really you taking personality away from your language and trying to establish it into like a societal norm. So like everybody sounds the same. I hate that, but I'm pragmatic, so it makes sense. Aims to reach agreement, receive approval, or utilize interdependence, mediate. Exhibit interconnection, inclusion, asking for permission, openness, and teamwork. So these are all like collective type people
Mhm.
as opposed to individualistic people.
So I mean, I think we've been giving the field of people a lot of shit, but to be honest with you, the field of people are the people that run the world. Okay, you get out of line, they're gonna censor your ass or silence you. Okay, it's whatever it is to do for the group. You ain't gonna be out here like the pragmatic. You ain't gonna be out here doing what the fuck you want to. I don't give a damn who you are. You could say you're the most pragmatic human being in the world. Look at what look what the affiliative is doing to Donald Trump. Okay, that's just one little line. Look what the affiliative doing. Well, you gonna get your ass like they'll let you like get to a certain point, and then when you start doing too much, it's like, yo, you got to get in line. You got to get in line. You about to get censored. You about to be cut off from all your bank accounts, whatever they got to do. Okay, the affiliative is, hey, don't play with the affiliative. Okay, I know you people be like laughing, like those little INFPs and shit. They be really running shit. You just don't understand it. When you hear that climate control, everybody need to get in line with the climate control, and then us like, man, what the fuck? Yeah, that's the affiliative. Or even like Tom Brady, he's affiliative, but he goes about it whenever he talks. He's always talking about the team and the group and how he can be a best teammate and all this affiliativeness, Um, I mean, we give the affiliate people a lot of shit, but they do run a lot of things.
I mean, think about it. It's like we hate, the hierarchies, for example. Like, but the hierarchies work for a reason. That's why they use them in the military. That's why they use them in government. That's why they use them in hospitals. They use them everywhere. You know, so it's like Mercer said, like affiliative people basically are society. Pragmatic people, if anything, are trying to work around society, but they still live in it. So they're subject to its rules. So a lot of times, if you try to be pragmatic like us, you run into trouble, or like who
Get your
knows,
ass
if you go
fired.
too far, you get fired or censored or whatever. So
I mean, you see what happened to Andrew Tate, where they hit his bank accounts. They even kicked the motherfucker out of Uber. Like, bro, the affiliative don't play when they come after you, man. Like, think it's a game if you want to. But hey, you're gonna get along with the group. You're gonna be violating too many people's social norms and values.
yeah,
So
if you're pragmatic, you just gotta pick your spots where you're gonna be pragmatic. You can't just go full blown individualistic because you're gonna run into a lot of trouble.
I mean, we talked about it a lot of times, and that really speaks to the pragmatic people. Is the long road, is the short road in disguise. That's going to be more to tailor towards the pragmatic people because the pragmatic people want to take, they want to skip a step or they want to go against the group and stuff like that. But then you end up setting your ass back at stage one. You may have been at stage 7 and now you're back at stage 1. And if you had did it the right way the first time, you'd be on stage 25. Okay, now you're starting back at stage 1. Now you're taking a big hurt. I've done it in my life. Was not a great time. I can tell you that motherfucking shit. I learned a good ass lesson. Before I do anything crazy anymore, I'm looking at both sides, like up, up, up. Is my ass covered? Everything. You won't see me out there just jumping out willy nilly no more. I'd be like, can I get it? First thing, can I get away with it? And how, like, and then I think to myself like that. Then my rule comes in. Long road is the short road in disguise, Mercer. And I'm like, okay, fuck it, we're gonna do it the right way. We've been traumatized enough. That was a big setback for me, huge setback.
Yes.
So Chris, you want to talk about your affiliate parents and
Well, my yeah. So basically, I'm a pragmatic person, and my mother's a affiliative person. So a lot of times she doesn't understand why I don't just go with the rules, go with the hierarchies and stuff like that. Like, so when I was in college, she wanted me to go to med school. So she would like always try to influence me to go to like these little clubs or whatever and participate in the the status of being in a medical club and stuff like that. Where I don't care about that. Like I never cared about it. I'm never gonna care about it. So it just didn't fit with my personality. I want to be with my individualistic friends that I made in college, not this fake group that I'm trying to be a part of, you know? So that's what I did. I made my own group. I didn't go chase status in a group or anything like that. I just did my own thing.
or a little
So,
community?
and then that comes across later on in life as well. Because I mean, if you look at what I'm doing as a career, I'm essentially an independent contractor, essentially. Uh, whereas she wanted me to be a lead tech and a manager and blah blah blah, all the stuff that I don't care about. She wanted me to do, whereas I just want to be independent, and do my own thing. That's just like the general theme of my life. So, go ahead, Merce.
Yeah, he really like. I mean, pragmatic people generally like freedom. A lot of times, um, as an affiliate people, they want you to get in the community. They want you to be part of a community, even if it's fake as shit. A lot of them come off very fake when you're around them.
Yes, passive aggressiveness, fakeness, bend down to fulfill the norm, stuff like that. I just
They got a lot of power. They got a lot. Hey, don't get it twisted.
but those people tend to have a lot of power in government and stuff like that.
That's
And they
that's
make
usually you
essentially they
government
make
people.
the rules.
Mm-hmm.
They get to influence the rules. So then the pragmatic people gotta get in line.
Yeah, and that's
At
you.
some point.
I mean, you got your ESTJs out there like Barack Obama. You got Ron DeSantis. You got Joe Biden. These are all motherfucking career politicians here. Affiliative as fuck. Okay, like you step outside that affiliative, they're gonna be on your ass. Do the right thing, sir. Do the right thing. It's all about the right thing. Like, okay, bro. Okay. don't hurt me, bro. Don't take away my livelihood. Don't take away, hey, don't take away my livelihood. You get too big. Hey, you see what happened to Kanye West? He thought his parents got a little too big for his britches, and they took $2 billion from him quick, fast, in a hurry. The affiliative do not play. You know, act right. And yeah, we have references there as always, Linda Behrens and David Kersey, because he's the one who has utilitarian. Linda Behrens revamped it to pragmatic, and he had cooperation. Like these people seek cooperation. She has affiliative. So, any last things you want to say, Christian?
Any last things? I guess I could say if you're pragmatic, like anything else, go to the other side and learn some things from the other side so you don't get in trouble. Because pragmatic, unhinged, you are gonna get in trouble. Point blank. Period. Like we live in a society. The pragmatic time of living is over. You know that was like before society. That was thousands of years ago. You know
Yeah, yeah.
nowadays it's like you got the police, you got the hierarchical structures, you got government in general. All of that is affiliative in nature. You either get with the rules or get gone. But I guarantee at the top of those things, there's some pragmatic people that are undercover. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
So you could get ahead in life. You just have to, be savvy with it.
You got to watch your ass. You got to watch your ass, and like you can't go too far. Like we talked about Kanye West. You can lose $2 billion in a couple weeks if you want to, act crazy. And start talking about the collective, the Jewish people. You want to
Oh
go
my
attacking
God.
the collective. You can lose $2 billion in a couple days or weeks, whatever the fuck he did. Guarantee he learned a good little fucking lesson. Thought he was untouchable. You are not, buddy. Andrew Tate probably learned the same thing, buddy. You're jailed. Okay, you went after some shit after Greta Thunberg. She's affiliative as fuck. Soon after that, this motherfucker was in jail.
Mm-hmm.
And the funny thing is, the affiliative could have said, bro, it's best for the group that we kill this motherfucker in jail. What the rest of the world gonna say? They ain't gonna say nothing. What they gonna say? Oh, somebody killed Andrew Tate in jail. Like, no, you can't say anything. You got to go what the affiliative say. What's the news? What's the news they putting out? What's the media? You wasn't there.
And then that gets forgotten a week later. As
That's
soon
what.
as some other news comes out, Andrew
Mm-hmm.
Tate forgotten, then that's it.
Think
So you gotta be very careful.
better be
Very,
very, very careful, man. But yeah, this is a fun one, and we're out.